Today's TED conference is about the cracks in the system. But if we all focus just on the cracks, then each and every one of us, we will crack. My name is Neshan and I am an activist. I am an activist here in Malaysia who raises awareness about mental health on the press. But I noticed something very interesting. The more I raised awareness about mental health, the worse my mental health became. And this is because of something very interesting. The more I fought for change, the more I wanted things to change, and the more desperate I became, the more burnt out and exhausted I became. And because of that, my quality of work dropped, I couldn't get published, and I stopped doing projects. So what did I do to solve this problem? I went to 3 people who are the most important to me. And they taught me how to let go of my anger, but to use more compassionate and convincing methods. Now today I'll be sharing with you these 3 lessons. Number 1, how we can start activism. Number 2, how we can use better approaches to activism. And number 3, how we can all be better activists together. So my first story starts with my father. Now my father is actually my dad. This isn't a surprise to many of you, but not many fathers can be a dad. You see, to be a dad, you need to be someone who's compassionate, someone who's understanding, and someone who's very protective. And my father was my dad. But my father's father, he wasn't a dad to him. My father's father was very strict. At any tiny mistake, he would tell my father off. Now, my father's father did this. One day when my father missed school, my father's father took him and tied him to the windowsill and beat him. I was shocked to hear this story. And so I asked my father, why were you so nice to me? My father told me, son, the reason I'm much better to you is because I want to make you happy. I need to change for events to change. If I don't advance myself, then who will? Who will raise you children? And that is when I learned a very important lesson from my father. My father taught me this, that when he let go of his anger and his pain, he embraced acceptance and wisdom. And by getting it himself, he could give it to me. And now I can give that to all of you. By getting his own peace of mind, he could then give his peace of mind even better. Now my second story starts with my colleague Jennifer. Jennifer is an independent filmmaker in the US. She comes from California. But the interesting thing about Jennifer is that she had a very, very dark past. Her parents came all the way from Taiwan in the 1950s, and they struggled to adapt to American culture. Being immigrants at that period of time meant you were alone, so they developed anxiety and PTSD, and Jennifer didn't have much support. Worse still, she was torn between an American culture and an Asian household. Many people feel torn between both sides, and so it built up a lot of anger in her. When I called Jen, I asked her, how did you get out of that? And Jen told me this. In her final year at Stanford, she saw a cyclist ride by, and she saw the cyclist and she thought, I really hate this person. And that is when Jennifer realized she needed help. And so she took responsibility and she went all the way to see a therapist. And when she was seeing a therapist, she learned something very important. Community is important. And so she joined group therapy, a place where people were as accepting as you and I. There they taught her compassion, and her anger slowly went away. But they asked her one very important question that stunned her. And that question was, what did you do to contribute to the problem? And Jennifer was shocked. She said, how could I have contributed to the problem? I thought I was a victim. Most of us think this way. When we see there's a problem, it started from somewhere else, someone else, and we just jumped in. But slowly and slowly, as her anger subsided, as she got her support, Jennifer realized something. She contributed to the problem. She realized that she didn't foster diversity and inclusion. She didn't help bridge that gap with others. In fact, she didn't even break the stigma. By isolating herself and getting more angry, she didn't make things any better. And so Jennifer took more responsibility She asked herself one more time, what did I do to contribute to the problem? And so she went forward and started filming at-risk groups. She looked at communities like hers who were suffering and became an independent filmmaker. Today, she's won many awards for her work, and I'm deeply proud of her. I asked Jennifer this, Jen, how can I improve? And she said this, you need to first let go of your anger. When you let go of the anger that's dragging you down, you can slowly embrace compassion, which is much easier to carry yourself with. With compassion, you become far more sustainable in anything you do. Jennifer is now a beacon to me in terms of acceptance and inclusion, and she taught me this. Before you can give peace of mind to others, you must first have your peace of mind. My final story starts with my best friend, Michelle. Michelle is an everyday activist. She tells her friends and family her views and thoughts about different ideas. But there's something that makes it very different. What she does is she listens first and she understands first. She never talks. And sometimes when we talk for 3 to 4 hours about humanitarian issues or even gender issues, she will just listen. And after she listens, understands, she will express her view. But she'll express her arguments in the context of my problem. She will show how both our pain is similar and coming from the same cause. Because of this, we can collaborate for a solution. More often than not in society, we like to tell people, you should change or this should change. But we never collaborate for solutions. We build up walls and prejudice. It is so often that we villainize our opposition. We say they are bad or they are wrong. And we become social activists or beacons for our own cause, creating more of a divide. What I learned from her is this, that you need to give peace of mind, not a piece of your mind. In summary, my father taught us here today that we need to start with ourselves. Jennifer taught us to let go of our anger and embrace compassion and ask that one question. What did we do to contribute to the problem? Once we understand that, then remember, Michelle taught us to collaborate instead of separate. Unity is very, very important. Remember, peace of mind is more important than giving a piece of your mind. Here's a piece of my mind, and let's have a toast to peace. Thank you, everyone.